the cake right to the side sex. Leave the fire and the roof stars up on the grind like we're chasing the stars. From Millmore to Do Valley, we've come so far. Talk about legends, yeah, we know the score. Ronnie and Bobby, we remember you more. From the highs of the Wembley fight to losing our trousers, still we ignite. Red and white with the pride, we're never gonna bow. Fighting like middlemen, hear the roar now. We're middlemen, we stand up tall. Through ups and downs, we give it all. From Millmore to Do Valley.
So welcome to another episode of Bush and Bez's League One predictions. You feeling confident with these one, Bez? Are you?
Well, I'm not sure. I mean, League One is the league that we should know a lot about with Rotherham with Savine in that league, and I think the Championship, that's hard to predict because you can go from Middlesbrough beating someone like Coventry and losing to Charlton, which obviously happened. So I do think League One should be easier to predict. So yeah,
I've noticed with League One, Bez, mine and your predictions are very similar. I think we see the league very, very similar, to be fair. And you'll see this through the results we've done. And if they're not the same, they're still very close.
Yeah.
So we'll start with the first game. Inform Lincoln and Stockport. So for me, I mean, Lincoln, what a team. They've run 5 in a row. I mean, they've beat Mansfield, Blackpool, Cardiff, Exeter. I couldn't believe they beat Cardiff, to be honest. They're on a great run. And that's why I've gone with Lincoln City 2, Stockport 1. Stockport, I think, are very hit and miss. They've lost away at Stevenage, lost away at Burton recently, and lost away to Bradford. So their away form isn't really good. And I think at the minute, Lincoln City are on fire and could win the league. I don't think I've ever said that at the beginning of the season, but I just can't see anything other than a Lincoln City win. So I'm going 2-1.
Yeah, I don't really disagree with anything what you're saying, really. What I would say about Lincoln, with regards to how well they're doing, is this is, if you like, a good example of where you employ a manager who might not do very well at the start, but if you give him a bit of time and a bit of credit, and he has 2, 3, 4 transfer windows, he may be able to get the best out of this squad. Now, I'm not saying Matt Amshaw's out, because obviously Matt Amshaw doesn't show any positives at all. But this guy's been in charge for a couple of years, I think, maybe 3. They've never really been near top until this year. And I believe it's because he's gradually built a team up over that time. Now, the reason, my prediction is Lincoln 1, Stockport 1. And the reason why I've gone with this is because I was talking to someone at work earlier about this. Lincoln have just come off an absolutely incredible win. Cardiff City, let's face it, Cardiff City and Lincoln have both been to Rotherham. We've seen them both play. And Cardiff were a far better team than Lincoln. No disrespect to Lincoln, they just were. So I think everyone, including me and you, had a Cardiff win. And Lincoln's gone there, professional performance on 1-2-0. Now, I think that going into this game, which is their next game after obviously playing Cardiff, I think there might be a hint of complacency. I think Lincoln will go into this game thinking, we've just beaten Cardiff, we were by far and away the best team in this division. We beat them away 2-0. Now I can just see them taking their foot off the gas a little bit. And Stockport, as you said, they're a little bit inconsistent, but they're still a good side, Stockport. And they're still obviously in that playoff spot. So I can just see it being a draw for those reasons and those reasons only. Lincoln are now going up. I can't see anyone else catching them. So Cardiff and Lincoln, so well done to you lads. I think you're going up. Well played.
Fair enough. On to the... well, it's us, isn't it? the car crash that is Rotherham United.
Get through it quickly.
India spin. We'll get in that on our show, but I'm going Bolton 3-1. I don't see us winning this game. I know Bolton recently haven't been winning many away, but they won 5-1 at Exeter. Drew with Reading and drew with Lincoln, but obviously Lincoln are a decent side. So obviously there's rumours of injuries in the camp, illness in the camp, all the excuses under the sun. And Matt Amshaw's football is shit. So I'm going to say a 3-1 loss.
Yeah, not a game we really want to be discussing at all, and we've got to discuss it for the next bloody 2 hours, unfortunately. I've gone similar. I've just gone 2-1 to Bolton. Now, a couple of positives from Rotherham's point of view. They've got a very good record at home to Bolton in recent years. Rotherham do generally perform better against the better sides as well. So there's a little bit of hope in there. But as you said, Lee, we're not a big fan of the manager. I don't think he knows what his best team is. He's already got his excuse lined up, which is the fact that the camp is full of illness, as you've already said. Something that we will discuss on our midweek Millers in about half an hour's time. So that's it, really. I don't want to go anymore. I can't see Rotherham winning. I'm surprised to myself that I've put them scoring. I think it's because they're at home, because let's face it, Rotherham create no chances. But, as I've said, there's a lot of quality in there, and I do think they'll score like a worldy goal. I know, a Sam Nombe 25-yard hitter, or Harry Gray beats 5 men and scores, or something like that. So yeah, Rotherham 1, Bolton 2, I'm afraid.
On to the next game then. So Doncaster and Blackpool. So Doncaster, I don't think have won since they beat us. They've lost 4-0 to Cardiff, lost to Stockport, lost to Plymouth, drew with Luton. Obviously, they beat us and Huddersfield. Blackpool, though, they've lost Wimbledon, lost to Wigan, lost to Lincoln 4-0. Drew with Bolton, which may give us some hope. And they actually beat Mansfield, which we didn't, but lost at home 4-0 to Plymouth. I just feel with Doncaster at home, they've always got that win in them at home. They just seem to go on a losing streak, but they'll win a couple of games at home. And I think this one will be one of those where they nick a win. And I'm going to go, it'll be tight. I could see it being very close, but I'm going to say 2-1 to Doncaster Rovers.
Yeah, I've gone slightly different to yourself. I've gone the 1-1 draw, as you can see there. I'll start with Blackpool first. I have to say, I do worry for Blackpool. You know, they've been near the bottom most of the season. They sacked the previous manager, Steve Bruce. It clearly wasn't working. They brought in Everton. He seemed to turn it around, and I think they've got up to almost halfway up league. I think they were like, at one point, they were 12th or 13th. But now they've gone into like a losing spiral or not winning spiral, let's say. They've lost, drawn their last 4. But as Lee said there...
I'll tell you what shot them up table, Bez, during that run. They played Rotherham twice and beat us twice.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's right, yeah. But where I worry for Blackpool is, and this is arguably a positive for Rotherham still, Rotherham can still sack their manager because they've not sacked him. And there's half a chance to get sacked, and the new manager comes in, they get that new manager bounce, and that keeps them up. So that is a possibility. With Blackpool, you just don't see it because they've already got a new manager. So it's very, very unlikely that they're going to sack him to bring a new one in. So they're stuck with this manager who's had a transfer window in January and seemingly it's even worse.
Steve Thompson, I think, has come back as a coach with them.
Well, the ex-Rotherham player, yeah.
Yeah, he's joined the coaching staff with Everton.
All right, interesting. But as I said, I do worry for Blackpool. Like, I'm looking at league table now, and there's still quite a lot of teams in this for going down. If I had to predict now who was going down, unfortunately, Blackpool would be one of my choices, just because, like I said, they've had the new manager. He's already had his kind of new manager bounce. That's now gone. We've gone way past that, and they've started to not win games. So, unfortunately, I think they're in trouble. Quickly on Donny, yeah, tight game. I've gone for 1-1. as you said, seems to be us. They've not won a game. I don't think Donny will go down. I think they'll, like you said, I think they'll get that. They need a couple of wins at home, and that should be enough to keep them up. And I think, this game, even though I've got a draw, there's a good chance that Donny win this game. And like I said, just a couple of home wins, and they're safe for me.
And then next game is Exeter versus Cardiff. So I've gone 2-0. Cardiff, though, are a funny side. So recently lost 5-2 away at Plymouth. Lost 2-0 at home to Lincoln. Only drew with Barnsley at 1-1. Obviously, they beat Wimbledon and they beat Luton in there as well. But for me, they're a funny side, Oxen. I know you're saying they've Cardiff. You're saying that they've gone up, but I don't know. They just keep pulling these random defeats out. I don't think Exeter have got enough to get anything against them. But again, I've gone 2-0 Cardiff, but it wouldn't surprise me if there was a shock on the cards there. But I will stick with Cardiff, and I've gone 2-0.
Well, before I give you my score, Cardiff are 9 points clear of second. So, you've got to think that that's 3 games of football. And because Cardiff's goal difference is far better than Bolton, it's almost like a 10-point gap.
Yeah.
So before we've started, that's 4 games that's gone. And that only leaves. So all Cardiff have to do is win 3 games of football between that end of the season, and that's them guaranteed up. Because that gives them, 82 points, which would put them 18 ahead of Bolton. And Bolton maybe could get 6 wins out of 10, I don't know, but unlikely. So I do think Cardiff are up. I've got the same score as you, Exeter 0, Cardiff 2. I actually worry for Exeter as well. Their form's not very good at the minute, and they've not quite got enough points to suggest that they're already out of it. With a new manager going in, obviously, someone we know, Matt Taylor. I just don't think he's the sort of manager who's good with relegation scraps. I know he did well at Rotherham and kept them up, but I did feel that season the Championship was a lot down to what Paul Ward had done pre-Matt Taylor coming in, and also the squad that he had, players like Old Benny and Barlas and what have you. He had a good squad, and then Rotherham did have a good transfer window in January, which helped them. So, I actually worry for Exeter. I hope Matt Taylor does well because I like him, but it wouldn't surprise me if they did finish at least in the bottom 6. I am worried for them.
Next game up is Leyton Orient and Peterborough. So I've gone with a 2-1 Peterborough win. Orient, I think they're in a relegation battle. I think Peterborough are already virtually safe on 46 points now, so I can't see them getting dragged into a relegation battle. Obviously, both of the form is up and down. Nobody's really shown any great form. But I did watch Peterborough in an away match at Mansfield, and they went and won that game 2-1. And I've just got a feeling they'll go to Leyton Orient and do the same as they did to Mansfield, and I've gone for 2-1.
I've got the same result as yourself again. Leyton Orient 1, Peterborough 2. Leyton Orient got a good win on Tuesday, fair play. They went to Stevenage and got a very good win, which did take them out of the bottom 4, which were good for them. This game could go either way. I actually think the game on Tuesday has hopefully taken a lot out of Leyton Orient, and I think that's why Peterborough might get the win. They should be a bit more fresher, having had a kind of a week off. I can see it being a draw, but I've gone with 2-1 because we need Rotherham, we need Leyton Orient to be losing this game. Really, as you said, Lee, Peterborough nowhere near going down. They're already on 46 points, the 14th. They're probably too much away from the top 6, like 9 points. So if they could just get a win here for us, please, and then they can do what they want the rest of the season. Leyton Orient 1, Peterborough 2.
Next up, Mansfield against Barnsley. So I'm going to go a Mansfield win. They're at home. I watched them against Arsenal. I thought they gave a really good account of themselves. they got a draw with us. I think they were the better side against us. I think they should have won that game. And I feel like they were only playing in second gear against us because they didn't want to risk injury for the game. I don't rate Barnsley at all. I think they're a poor side. And I think that Mansfield will beat them 2-1.
Yeah, so I've gone 1-1. I can't disagree with a lot of what you said there, to be fair. I thought Mansfield just edged it against us, like you said, and should have won. And yeah, they didn't get out of second gear because they were almost saving themselves for the Arsenal game. Barnsley are your typically inconsistent team. They're literally 13th in the league, which is bang down the middle. Their last 5 games is literally draw, win, loss, win, loss. So very inconsistent. This game could go either way. Mansfield's last 3 games have been good for them. A couple of draws in there and a win. So yeah, I just think they'll cancel each other out. 1-1. Mansfield fans, don't worry. I don't think you're going down. That'll put you on 45 points. So you only really need a couple of wins and you're safe.
Up next, another relegation battle. So Burton and Northampton. So I've gone for a Burton win. I think out of all them teams at the bottom, right up to Mansfield, I think Burton are the best side out of the bottom sides. I think they absolutely smashed us at Burton and when we played them. And I don't think Burton will go down. I think Northampton will definitely be relegated. I think they are, for me, the worst side in the league with Port Vale. And I can't see them picking many points up. Obviously, they've got rid of the manager, so there may be a manager bounce. But for me, I think Burton will have too much for them, and I've gone for 1-0.
Yeah, and I've gone the exact same as yourself, Lee. Northampton 0, Burton 1. Again, I agree with most of the points you were making. I don't think Burton will go down either. They're the sort of team where, let's say they do get sucked into the bottom 4, they'll go and get that win. And it could be against anyone. You know, it could be against Cardiff, who are top of the league. Or it could be against Lincoln, who are top of the league as well. It doesn't matter who they're playing. They seem to get that win that they need. So, yeah, they'll get their 3 wins, which is all they require to get to 49 points, and obviously a draw or 2 in there. That'll keep them up. Now, the only thing about this game is the fact that Northampton have set the manager. Now, that might have an impact. I mean, what I actually want is, for Rotherham, the best result here would be a 0-0 draw. Obviously, keeps Northampton, well, close to Rotherham. They'd go above Rotherham on 1 point, but it'd keep Burton still within reach as well. So a favourite result for Rotherham is a draw. But, as you said, Lee, I just fancy Burton to go there with the probably the best manager in that bottom 6, I'd say. Go there, defend really well, and just get the odd goal, which will make me they win 1-0.
Fair enough. The next game we've got is Port Vale versus Huddersfield. Now, I think you'd normally look at this fixture, you said bottom versus 6th, so Huddersfield will smash them. But having watched Huddersfield under Manning, I think they're absolutely awful. They don't create much. I think they'll have too much for Port Vale. But the reason I've gone is only 1-0 is because, same as against us, they won 1-0. They just had enough to beat us. But their football was dreadful. Even the fans was booing. I think he's a very negative manager. I know you said you rate him, but I'm not a fan. I think his football is awful. And I think Huddersfield really, with the squad they've got, if they've got a decent manager, they beat Port Vale 3 or 4-0. But with Manning in charge, he'll be negative. He'll go there to be hard to beat and hit them on the break, and they'll probably score off someone's backside. And I've gone 1-0.
Yeah, in terms of the result, I've again gone the same as yourself. I've gone 1-0 Huddersfield. Now, the thing with Manning is I actually don't think he is like a sort of manager who goes and defends and tries to get 1-0 wins. So if you look at when he was at MK Dons, you know, they scored the most goals in the league that period. I can't remember what they've done in terms of conceding, but I remember them playing really good attacking football. And that's why I thought it'd work at Norwich, because Norwich are a team, aren't they, who traditionally play free-flowing attacking football, who press high as well. And I thought that was Liam Manning. Now, watching the game on Saturday against Rotherham, you're right, it was not that at all. The fans were booing Huddersfield because they weren't happy with what they were seeing. I don't really know what style they were trying to implement. Now, he might say he's not got this player to play his way. And if that's the case, you might have to wait until the summer before you see the real Liam Manning take control.
I think doing that though, Bez, because I look at Huddersfield's squad. It's probably, I mean, they've even got that. Is it Taylor out on loan somewhere?
Yeah, so they could. So he couldn't bring him back, Taylor, could he?
No, he couldn't bring him back. Yeah. But what I'm saying, their squad is that good. They could afford to loan him out. They've on paper got a top 4 squad. Yeah. So I would say he should be going there and doing better with that squad.
You're right, but I'm not saying it. I agree. The quality squad is really good. It's not that what I'm saying. I'm saying the type of play. Now I don't know. I don't care to know a lot about Huddersfield Town, but I was trying to say that the type of player Huddersfield have brought in isn't necessarily the type of player who can control the midfield. So Alfie May, for example, he's just a runner. He'll just run all day. Whereas
before Manning, I'm pretty sure Huddersfield were the top scorers in the league. So they have attacking players. That's what I don't get with it all. That's why I don't get his tactics, because when you look at the stats before, they were kind of shipping goals, and I think that's what he's tried to sort out. But then he's forgotten how to attack, because they were one of the top scorers in the league.
Okay, so, well, if that's the case, what I would say then is I would still, because he's not going to get sacked, even if they finish like 8th, he's not going to get sacked. I would still wait, see what visits are doing the summer, and then see what he does next season. That's all I would say. And if you're right, I'll hold my hands up and say, yeah, you got that right. But for me, when he was at MK Dons, he played free-flowing, attacking football. And like I said, they had that Scott Twine, for example, who were like a classic number 10. I don't think he's got that sort of player at Huddersfield. But anyway, it's more to it summer. Let's see what it does in summer, and we'll take it from there. With regards to this game quickly, 1-0. I just think what the reason I think Huddersfield's going to win is more to Port Vale. They've had a big game at the weekend where they beat Sunderland, so congratulations for that. They also had a game midweek, so I think those ties might be a bit flat out, whereas Huddersfield players will be fresh and they'll come into the game, and I think they'll control the game. But like you said, they're not scoring a lot of goals, which is why I've kept it at 1-0. So yeah, hopefully Huddersfield win, because it helps Rotherham as well.
On to the next game. This is the one I really struggled with, because Reading, for me, now under Richardson, very good side, I think now, and really on good form. Plymouth, you don't know what you're getting with Plymouth. This is the thing. So they won 3-0 away at Wigan. Obviously, they beat Doncaster. They beat Cardiff 5-2. They won 3-1 away at Orient. And then they lose in the virtual trophy to Luton and lose to Rotherham away. Whereas, obviously, I think Reading have only lost to Mansfield recently. So I've gone 1-1, but I've just got a sneaky feeling Reading might nick it. So that's what I was toying with, maybe Reading pinching it. But I've gone for a stalemate, but it was a difficult pick, this one. I'm not going to lie. But especially with Plymouth, they're very erratic.
Yeah, and same as me, Lee. I spent quite a lot of time kind of looking at this game, and I've gone what you were going to go, and I've gone Reading to win 2-1. Now, one thing I would say about Plymouth is, how the hell did they lose to a really poor Rotherham United side? And it weren't as if Plymouth dominated and should have won. Rotherham probably did deserve the win. Now, I got told from a Plymouth fan that's
11 players out though, mate.
Exactly, yeah. And I was going to point out though, these players are still out as far as I'm aware. They might have had the odd one back or odd two back, but as far as I'm aware, 80% of those players are still out, but they still beat Donny and they've won another game, Wigan away. So it does look like the injuries aren't affecting them too much. But I do know that they've been playing a lot of players at a position, and this is a tough game. Going to Wigan and getting a win, that's not that tough because Wigan are really struggling. Doncaster, again, they've not won since the Rotherham, so they're struggling. They're easy wins. Reading, they're one of the form teams. Since Richardson's got in there, he's done an unbelievable job. The reason I went for a 2-1 Reading is because Reading are my pick to get in that playoffs, and I think they'll win the playoffs. So they're currently 7th, a point behind Huddersfield, 2 behind Stockport. I think Reading get in the playoffs, and I think they win the playoffs.
Interesting. On to Stevenage and Wimbledon. So both of these teams have hit a little bit of sort of indifferent form. So Stevenage lost to Orient, but Wimbledon won 4-1 against Blackpool, 1-0 against Northampton, drew with Mansfield, beat Bradford 3-1, and obviously got hammered by Cardiff and drew with Barnsley. But at the same token, Stevenage recently have beat Huddersfield, Port Vale, Stockport. They won away at Burton, which is a difficult place to go. So I've gone for a stalemate here. I think both teams are capable on the day. I think they're very similar sort of standard of team and squads. So I've gone 1-1.
Yeah, again, I agree with what you're saying. I've gone Stevenage 1, Wimbledon 0. Now, I'll start with Wimbledon. I think Johnny Jackson has done an incredible job there. When he took over, they were dwindling in League Two. It took him a couple of seasons or maybe 3 seasons to get promoted. And I really thought Wimbledon this year would go straight back down. But they're not going to. They've already got probably enough points for 49 to stay up. They are on good form. Now, the main reason I've got a Stevenage win is because Wimbledon are on good form, but historically this year, they've been inconsistent. So they're almost due a loss. And Stevenage, on the other hand, they obviously lost on Tuesday night to Leyton Orient. I just can't see them losing 2 games at home in a row. So, yeah, I think Stevenage will bounce back here and win the game 1-0.
On to the next game, which is Wigan versus Bradford. So this is another one where I struggle, but Wigan in a bit of indifferent form, and so are Bradford, really. And so I've basically gone for the home team. Wigan are at home, and I think they will win this game. Again, Wigan, they've won. They keep winning a lot of home games 1-0. So in the last few games, they've beat Luton at home 1-0. They also beat Huddersfield at home 1-0. And it's the away games where they're losing or picking up a point. So at home, they tend to win 1-0. And I don't think Bradford are great away. So the last away game, they lost at Wimbledon 3-1 away. They lost at Reading away 2-1. They did win away at Port Vale, but they're bottom of the league. So I've gone 1-0 Wigan.
I've gone Wigan 0, Bradford 0. And again, a lot of what you're saying I can't disagree with. I think that you're right. The fact that since the new manager's come in, they've obviously, you can see what he's tried to do straight away. He's tried to get that a settled back four and get them defending properly. And apart from the Plymouth game, that's worked well for him. Obviously, a 1-0 against Huddersfield and a 1-0 against Luton. Now, I don't know if you remember me saying, though, last week, Lee, when Wigan did play Huddersfield, I watched some of the game. I watched the highlights. I looked at the stats. And Huddersfield absolutely dominated, like completely dominated. Dominant possession, had a lot more shots. I think they had like 30 shots in the game, something like that. Just couldn't score. They hit the post, they hit the bar. I felt it was almost as though Wigan got a little bit of luck. Now, I just think that they're going to do something similar, Wigan, and almost try and hold out and get grab a goal. But because I think Bradford this season they're fourth in the league, they've done really well. I think Bradford defensively will do better than what Huddersfield did, and that's why I think it's going to be 0-0. Just think they'll cancel each other out 0-0, and that'll be good for Rotherham as well.
On to the next game, and it's Wycombe versus Luton, and two teams that I just think are very inconsistent, don't score many goals, don't concede many goals, and that's why I've gone 0-0. Both very inconsistent form. Really been disappointed with Luton. I thought they would be a team to watch this season, and when obviously the leagues come out, I thought Luton probably would be up there, but not a chance. I just think they're very inconsistent, and I've gone for a ball draw, 0-0.
I've gone similar. I've gone 1-1. The thing with Luton is because of the type of manager they employed, Jack Wilshere, I see this as a bit of a longer-term project, so they were never going to get success in the first year. Luton have still got to get rid of a lot of their high earners from the Premier League, which I think they'll do in this summer. So I think you'll find that Luton next year is the year where they start improving, start being close to the top and trying to get back into the Championship. Obviously, there's no danger of them going down, so that's okay. Wycombe, ever since Mike Dusk got in there, he's done a good job. I think they won the 3 games in a row, and then they did lose to Bolton 3-2, which, I don't know if you saw it, a crazy game. I think Bolton scored 3 goals in the last 2 or 3 minutes, so they were close to winning that, to be fair. If anyone does win this game, I think it will be Wycombe, but it's a little bit of a derby. Luton have drawn 3 out of 5 games, so I think it'll just be a draw. It'll keep Wycombe rolling, keep them with a chance for playoffs, and it'll keep Luton ticking over as well. And that's last game, I think, as well.
Yeah, that's it. That's the last game. So thank you for watching, guys. If you agree with our score predictions, drop them in the comments. Don't forget to drop a like on the video and share the video. It really does help us. So thanks again for watching, and we'll see you again next time.
Cheers, everyone. Bye.